What if I told you that Johnny Depp just had one of his most iconic red carpet moments in years, and it didn't happen in Hollywood or Paris? It happened right in the heart of Buenos Aires. The energy of the city completely changed the moment he stepped out for the premiere of Modigliani, 3 days in Montparnasse. And honestly, it felt like the world suddenly shifted its focus back to him, almost as if everyone had been waiting silently for a moment like this. If you've been following the ups and downs around Johnny lately, you're definitely not alone. So many people have been trying to understand what he's planning, what he's working on, and what direction he's about to take. That's what today is all about. I'm going to walk you through everything that happened, his entrance, the fans, the red carpet excitement, the deeper meaning behind his entire vibe, and what this appearance might actually say about the next chapter of his career. And trust me, there's one detail from that night that might completely change the way you see Johnny's comeback. Let's start with the moment Johnny arrived at the theater. The crowd was out of control in the best way possible. Fans were screaming his name, cheering, crying, chanting, and holding everything from paintings to guitars to even wine bottles for him to sign. Only in Argentina, right? There's something about the Argentinian energy that just knows how to make a moment bigger, louder, and full of heart. Johnny stepped out wearing an outfit that felt very, him. Relaxed, classy, warm, artistic. Nothing too loud, nothing trying too hard. It was the kind of look that quietly says, I'm here, I'm confident, and I'm enjoying this part of my life. And the moment he smiled, it felt like the entire crowd softened with him. It wasn't the forced Hollywood smile. It was gentle. It was peaceful. It was the smile of someone who has gone through chaos and finally found a way to breathe again. Even journalists on the scene said that the noise doubled the moment he waved. People didn't just want to see Johnny. They wanted to feel connected to him. And inside the venue, that connection only got stronger. People weren't just there to watch a film premiere. They were watching Johnny step back into a world that feels made for him, the world of art, creativity, emotion, and misunderstood geniuses. And here's where things get deeper. Modigliani isn't just a movie for Johnny. It's personal. He has always been drawn to artists who lived fast, created passionately, and struggled silently. Musicians. Painters. Outsiders. People who weren't understood in their time but continued making art anyway. Modigliani's story mirrors a lot of what Johnny has lived through. A talented soul judged too quickly. Someone who felt things deeply. Someone whose art spoke louder than his words. And someone who faced criticism, but still kept creating. During the premiere, fans noticed something beautiful. Johnny didn't rush past people. He didn't hide behind security. He didn't give cold celebrity waves. He took his time. He greeted fans one by one, smiled at them, accepted drawings, hugged a few, and listened. Real listening. That's something he has always been known for. He treats supporters like real humans, not just a crowd. And that's a big reason why people feel so attached to him. But of course, the internet loves rumors. You might have seen people asking, is Johnny returning to Hollywood? Is this a sign of something bigger? Is this the beginning of his official comeback? Let's clear the air gently. Johnny hasn't been chasing Hollywood. Hollywood has been watching him. He hasn't been running after the industry the way people expect. Instead, he's been focusing on art, music, painting, independent work, and projects that allow him freedom. His art exhibitions sold out. His Paris project with Maywen made headlines. And now, this appearance in Argentina shows something important. The love he receives doesn't come from big studios. It comes from people. Fans. Supporters. Artists. Regular people who see him for who he is, not for what the industry turned him into. One of the most touching moments of the entire night unfolded quietly, almost without the cameras noticing at first. In the middle of all the lights, noise, and excitement, a young Argentinian artist stepped forward with trembling hands. She was holding a delicate sketch of Amedeo Modigliani, long neck, sharp eyes, that instantly recognizable style. You could tell she had poured her heart into it. Most celebrities would take a quick look, thank the fan, give a polite smile, and move on. But Johnny? He didn't treat it like a random fan gift. He treated it like a piece of art, and more importantly, like a moment worth pausing for. He actually stopped walking. He didn't rush. He didn't look distracted. He took the drawing gently, held it up with both hands, and studied it in silence. The crowd around him softened. The noise faded a little, as if everyone instinctively felt the emotional weight of the moment. Johnny's expression changed, first curiosity, then appreciation, and then a warm smile that felt completely genuine. He looked up at the young artist, who looked like she was holding her breath, and he said, "This is beautiful." Simple words. Not rehearsed. Not forced. Just honest. In that 1 second, you could see how much it meant to her. Her eyes filled up, and you could tell she wasn't just meeting a celebrity, she was being seen by someone she admired. Someone who understood what it means to create something from the soul. And Johnny acknowledged her not as a fan in a crowd, but as an artist in her own right. That moment exploded online afterward. Clips, photos, fan reactions, everyone talked about it. Because this is the side of Johnny that people connect with the most. Not the movie roles, not the fame, not the controversies, but the human being with a soft heart, who never forgot where he came from. The vulnerable side. The grateful side. The present, emotionally awake side that listens, notices, and respects others. But that emotional moment wasn't the only thing that made the night special. Behind the scenes, something else was happening. Something even more interesting. Something that didn't make as many headlines, but could end up being one of the most important parts of Johnny's visit to Buenos Aires. Away from the flashing lights and the red carpet noise, Johnny spent time speaking privately with local Argentinian filmmakers and cinematographers. Not in a distant Hollywood mentor kind of way. Not as a global superstar giving advice from the top of the mountain. But as an artist sitting with other artists, equal to equal, soul to soul. People who witnessed it said the conversation was real, open, and filled with ideas bouncing back and forth. They talked about independent cinema. They talked about the future of storytelling. They talked about films that aren't driven by big studios or box office pressure, but by emotion, culture, honesty, and artistic risk. And that is huge. For years, Hollywood controlled the narrative around Johnny, who he was, what roles he played, what stories he told. But now, he's stepping into a space that is entirely different. A space where he doesn't have to impress executives. A space where he doesn't have to filter himself. A space where he can be vulnerable, raw, creative, unconventional, the way he has always wanted to be. Industry insiders have already started whispering about this shift. They say Johnny may be putting more of his energy into independent cinema. Films that are intimate. Films that explore the inner world. Films that allow him complete creative freedom. And honestly, if you look closely, all the signs point in that direction. His art exhibitions. His personal film choices. His collaborations with European directors. His growing interest in foreign film culture. And now, this long conversation with Argentinian filmmakers. Johnny might be stepping away from the traditional Hollywood machine and walking toward a new artistic landscape, one shaped by passion, not pressure. If this shift continues, it could completely redefine the next decade of his career. Not a comeback to the old Hollywood version of him, but a rebirth. A transformation. A move into storytelling that feels personal, meaningful, emotional, maybe even spiritual. And think about it, Modigliani itself is the perfect symbol. Modigliani was misunderstood. Undervalued. Criticized. But he kept creating. He kept painting. He kept living through his art. Johnny sees himself in that. And through moments like the sketch from the young artist and the behind-the-scenes creative conversations, he's reconnecting with exactly what made him fall in love with cinema in the first place: authenticity. This is why Argentina mattered so much. Not because it was a glamorous event. Not because it had press and fans. But because it reminded Johnny, and the world, that art still lives in connection, vulnerability, culture, and human emotion. And maybe, just maybe, this night marked the beginning of a brand new artistic chapter for him. A chapter where he chooses his path, his projects, and his pace, completely on his own terms. Another interesting detail, his entire look that night. Johnny always uses fashion to tell a story. The hat, the rings, the layered outfit, the texture, the colors, they all had a vintage European artistic vibe. Almost like a tribute to Modigliani himself. If you look closely, you'll notice he wasn't trying to look like a Hollywood actor. He was dressing like an artist. Like someone embracing a new chapter. Someone stepping into a world of creativity where he decides the rules. Many fans also pointed out that this appearance might be connected to another secret project Johnny has been developing for years, something involving art history, old European culture, and emotional storytelling. If that's true, then this premiere is not the end. It's the beginning of something much bigger. And here's the exciting part, this isn't his only upcoming public appearance. There are expectations of new press meetups, more art reveals, screenings in other countries, and even whispers of a new music collaboration later this year. Imagine that, Johnny returning to the world, but on his own terms. Not through the Hollywood machine, but through art, film, music, and connection. Now, I want to hear your thoughts. Do you think Johnny's appearance in Buenos Aires marks the real beginning of his artistic comeback? Or do you think he's simply enjoying his life, exploring different cultures, and moving at his own pace? Whatever you think, share it in the comments. I read every comment, and I love seeing different perspectives. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want to stay updated on Johnny's journey, take a look at the other videos on the channel. There's so much more to explore: his art, his films, his style changes, his quiet transformation, everything. And if you want more content like this, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow, and it lets me know that this kind of storytelling matters to you. Thanks for watching, thanks for being here, and I'll see you in the next one.